Are you ready to branch out, to take a leap of faith, to love yourself and others fully? Then let go of whatever no longer serves you to take action now on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Erica will energize and excite you to power up your passionate dream that sets your soul on fire. With Erica's E3 approach, equipping, empowering, and enlightening yourself so you can be yourself for yourself. Get ready and get rooted to live a life without regrets, without what ifs, without should haves, and especially without empty feelings from a life unexplored. This hit show helps you build powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go. Get fearlessly ready and powerfully rooted in your yes with your host, Erica Gifford Mills, and be fearless about your more and stand in your yes. Now on Get Rooted Radio.
Well, welcome everyone. I'm Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go, right here on Transformation Talk Radio. A big shout out to my producer today, Emily. Emily, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for asking.
Are you ready for the holidays?
Oh, I'm so excited. I have so many plans.
My boy comes home in 3 days, and I should say my young man, not my boy. You know, he doesn't, big bad Marine would not like that very much if I called him just a boy. But I believe you and our listeners are in for a real treat today as we discuss personal and professional leadership and work-life harmony. And as it said in the introduction on the website, if you saw that, and if you don't, check it out, because Transformation Talk Radio has a lot of great shows out there. Leadership and success are only words. They are a choice. So we don't just say words, just like anything, we take action. Therefore, let's be sure to do it right. And today, my guest, Andre Young, and I will discuss how to enhance leadership and work-life harmony for really everyone, organization, leaders, employees, people worldwide, allowing really a professional and personal evolution. So listeners, you will learn how to stop being busy and start being better. But first, I want to tell you about my guest. Andre Young is a professional speaker, an author, a leadership trainer, and founder of You Evolving Now, LLC. He worked as a mental health therapist for 19 years, played sports at every level from high school to professional, has been an employee, a business owner, and self-employed, and has written 5 books focused on enhancing leadership and work-life harmony. As founder of You Evolving Now, it's his mission to enhance leadership and work-life harmony for organizations, leaders, employees, and teams with his high-energy, interactive, culture-impacting leadership training programs and speaking engagements to truly allow for professional and personal evolution. I am very honored to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, thank you for having me, Erica. It's a pleasure. Everybody listening, I hope you're having an amazing day, and thank you for your time.
So I want to just jump right in and begin with personal leadership, because I think we really have to start there in order for it to flow over. And in the 7 ways to lead, so folks, check it out. And 7 ways to lead evolve professionally and personally. You wrote, we must first be willing to effectively lead our own lives as a person, professional, partner, and parent. What did you mean by this?
Well, 2 things, because that's evolved over time. One, I have found, because I've been an employee, I've been a manager, I've been a leader. Okay. I've been the world's best employee at one point in my life, says me. And I've been the worst due to burnout and everything in between. And I have found people and employees will do what a boss told them to do because they have that title. And if they didn't have that title, it might be a whole different conversation. I've also found that some people will come to a job they don't even like anymore because they have a great connection with you. Connection matters. And the way to get that connection is a personal choice of how we, how you, how I choose to show up to our lives, our work, and our relationships in a daily way. So when we arrive, it makes people want to follow us, because even if they don't like the mission, maybe they have personal things, they enjoy how you are and who you are. They have respect for how you are and who you are. And it doesn't mean that we do it perfectly every day. But can I come in every day with my head up, eyes up, smiling, greeting, willing to do my best and be my best, and marry what I want to do and give with what the person receiving my effort needs most from me right now. And that may be my boss, my employee, my customer, or client. When we do that consistently, it's hard to lose. It's hard not to make connection. And I have found that people will do more for you, with you, because of you, and forgive about your mistakes and your requests when they have a better connection with you. The other thing that I would add, people may not always like that. There's going to be some grumpy Gus's, some negative Nicks, some negative Nancy's that don't like you for your positivity. They don't like you for it because they don't believe it. That person can't be that happy or positive all the time. This is bull crap, or they're kissing up, or whatever it is. So every now and then when you do have a bad day or a bad moment, it's actually pretty good because it shows everybody that you're human. But leaders bounce back. Personal leadership, we bounce back quicker than everybody else. We accept responsibility, accountability, and we get back to the mission quicker than everybody else. And it sets even a higher standard. So that's what I would share about personal leadership. And that's at work, but also in our marriages, with our kids. Personal leadership goes a long way.
I completely agree, because it's funny how, if you do have those moments, right, you're human. And I mean, I just did it today. I said, I haven't slept well in the past 3 days. I'm a little bit crabby. So if I'm a little snippy, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to watch it, right? I'm not saying that it's okay. Mm-hmm. But if I come across quick, right, and you take that, because we all do it. We read into an email. You read a tone into an email that's not ever there. So I said, if I shoot back something real quick to you, it's not that I'm upset. It's, hey, I'm just trying to get through everything today. And it's just like in everyday life. You got to feel the feelings. Just don't unpack and stay there. Right. And right. You're human, right? We all have those moments. And I think when you do, regardless of the title, if you show up like that in your everyday life, in your parental life, in your partner's life, in your professional life, you are going to have people lead no matter what your title is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wake up to be of value. I want to be of value today. Like, how can I wake up, what's something good I can do for my wife? Not only that I want to do, but what does she need? Am I even curious about that? Or because when we do what we want to do or what we think everyone needs, it's easy to end up having a professional or a personal temper tantrum eventually of, look how much I do around here. Look what I do for you. Well, one, they didn't even ask. And you're assuming, and now you want pats on the back. Like, well, yeah, have we married it with curiosity with what they need?
And I think that is important, because what you're thinking or what your values are doesn't necessarily mean that's the same person's values in friendships too. I mean, I have a lot of friends who have different political views than I do, or different religious beliefs. It doesn't mean I can't be friends with them, right? It's how do you show that leadership to say, we have a difference of opinion, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's moving forward past that. What would you tell listeners on personal leadership that to have that growth, right? That personal growth in their leadership ability?
That's a great question, because I think of a couple things that come to mind. One is our personal leadership is our responsibility, not theirs. There's too many times where I'll do this if they do that, or if they don't do this, that. One, here's a simple rule. I call it the less more rule. Never be less because someone else won't give or be your definition of more. You be great regardless. So I'm going to show up great as a leader, when I was an employee, when I was an athlete, in my marriage, and even to your kids, because your kids don't always give you what you want and need. So I'm going to show up every day the best of my capacity. Okay. And regardless of how or what I get back. Now, I don't mean be a sucker. I'm not saying don't have boundaries. What I am saying is choose to show up great every day. there's some other things that we know we need to do for ourselves. And I call it the 5 points of the day. I'll say it very quickly because I know we have a break coming up. Look, number one, be mindful what you put in your mind and your spirit before you wake up and go on to where you're going to go for the day. Okay. You can only give what you have inside of you. So if you fill up with negativity and busy pays bills, busy gets stuff done, but busy doesn't always make you better. So if all you got is busy and negativity, that's not enough to give the world. That's what you're going to give back. So be mindful what you put in here and make sure whatever you're filling yourself up with to begin your day is making you better and not bitter. Organize who the heck you choose to spend your time with, whether that's getting to work with your friends, and be intentional about your group of people that you spend time with. I call it midday self-care and relationship building. You got people that you care about. How do we nurse those relationships regularly? Can you send out, we all got the fastest thumbs on the planet. You can send out a text that take you 20 seconds to say, hey, I was thinking about you, friend, wife, whomever. Or a nice email to a coworker or somebody in the department J that always helps you out. Hey, happy Monday. I hope everything's going great. I really wanted to thank you for everything that you've done over getting this project across the line. Couldn't have did it without you. Thank you. That doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Being mindful how we return home. Our partners and our kids are not a dumping ground because we had a bad day or hate our job. And then at the end of the night, giving ourselves some grace to, hey, what was my biggest accomplishment of the day? Giving yourself some pats on the back for your big wins and small wins that no one knows about. That's our job to celebrate that and then celebrate it with other people. So there's so many different things. Never be less because you're not getting the more we feel we deserve, which is a bully word. And being mindful to be intentional about your day, your actions, and what we consume, even on social media. We become what we consume. So what are we consuming on the thing that knows us the best?
Those are great points. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about team leadership skills. Before we go, Andre, tell folks how they can reach you.
The best way is anywhere you are on social media. So whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, You Evolving Now, or Andre Young, it's Andre, or my website houses everything from books to services to videos and more. And that's youevolvingnow.com, YOU, evolvingnow.com.
You are listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any portion of today's episode, you can catch it on getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe online to see the latest news, events, specials, and words of encouragement. Go to getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Andre Young. Andre, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
So during the last segment, we talked about personal leadership. So let's get into team leadership skills. Now, in the book, The Leader's Toolbox, you mentioned 3 prerequisites for employees and leaders. What are those 3 prerequisites?
Mine are the 3 Ps. So I don't hire or outsource anyone that's not positive, passionate, and productive. And I have found that one without the other 2 is always a nightmare. For instance, you can't have someone that's all positive standing in the corner smiling, but they're not getting anything done. You can't have somebody that's super passionate because passion doesn't always mean skill. Passion doesn't always mean they're a good connector. So passion's not enough. And then you can have somebody that's very productive, but I will tell you, I've met very productive workers that are on their way to being fired because how they're productive is conniving, backstabbing, cheating. So I need all 3. And in my personal life, I will only hang out with all 3, with somebody that embodies all 3. So that's a really big prerequisite for me, the 3 Ps.
And how does that build collaboration amongst teams when we're talking team leadership, right? Even without the title,
Sure.
and when you need to work with other departments, or cross-functional, or even outside of companies, right? When you've got a client that you're working with.
Well, and I will say that it's a foundation. It's a starting point, not an ending point. So I hear some organizations say they want to motivate their people, and I cringe because I'm like, yeah, I played sports for a long time. And if you have to motivate every player all the time, that is a job you do not want. No coach wants to do that. What you want to do is get already motivated people, and then we want to lead them towards the vision of success. So I say you want to bring in and reward the 3 Ps that are already existing, or bring in those people to your team. But that does not mean just because everybody's positive, passionate, and shoot, I don't forgot my other P. That's positive, passionate, and productive. Doesn't mean that they know how to effectively collaborate, though. They may be willing, but there needs to be, how do we do this? So that's when a few different things come in. As a leader, now you have the 3 Ps. Well, what is the leader's 3? What is your vision for where they're going to go? Otherwise, you got a bunch of 3 Ps eagerly doing their own thing. And that could be a nightmare. That could be a nightmare. Another nightmare is when people are inspired and motivated. People think the demise of culture comes from your grouches. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have enough grouches to do that. You don't have enough grouches to have a full-on mutiny. Okay? What you do have, you may have a lot of inspired and motivated 3 Ps that don't know how to stop working, that get work done on the weekends and don't take vacations. And now everybody thinks that that's what it takes to be a high performer. So no, thank you. I don't want to be that. It's our job to sell our position. It's hard to sell your position when you are burnt out, about to have a heart attack, super anxious, working on vacation and not taking it. So what is your vision for your team, for everybody, these 3 Ps? Then what are the 3 to 5 things? These are your vision factors. What are the 3 to 5 things that when they and where you do them consistently, the vision has to come true? Now, what are your expectations? Mine are the 3 Ps. And then here are your rules. So here's a working example of this. My assistant is the world's best assistant. And no knock, I know you got assistants too. I'm just going to label mine the world's best assistant. Now she's going to take on a new role, and she's going to become our marketing director, right? So I have a web team, an automation team, and now she's going to lead this team with our marketing starting 2024. So everybody's the 3 Ps, but it doesn't mean that she knows how to lead, and it doesn't mean that they will accept her leadership. So what is our vision for this marketing division? And now we're now starting. What are the vision factors? What are my expectations? And then here's some rules. Everybody needs to be on time. You can have a bunch of 3 Ps, but if they don't show up on time for meetings or click on, then we're going to have an issue. We go back and forth more than 3 to 4 times in emails about the same thing, that we must get on the Zoom call. One call wipes away 17 emails.
Yeah.
Third, please accompany your problem with a suggested solution. Please accompany your problem with a suggested solution. And Nicole now knows, hey, one of 3 things is going to happen when people do that. 1, Erica, your idea is so daggone good, we have to go with it. 2, we may have to fine tune it because you don't sit in my seat, you don't see the emails. 3, the idea doesn't fit inside those vision factors. Can you, on your own time, think about how to do that, and let's revisit it. And if it fits, great. If not, it's not its time. So that's the, 1, you want to have the 3 Ps, but now we have to have the leaders 3 to give it a working framework, so everybody's playing by the same rule and playbook.
Yep. No, and that's how I think sometimes, not all the time, but that's how leaders fail. They have these expectations in their head, but they've never communicated those expectations or the rules, right? And
Right.
And I was giggling a little bit when you said if it's more than 3 emails, I think I do the same thing, because I'm like, well, no, jump on a 5-minute call. Otherwise,
Right.
I'm sitting here did you not understand what I said? Or did you
Right.
not read the email fully? Or what? If it takes more than that, jump on a call.
And leaders have to assume the communication error is their fault, even when it's
Yep.
not. If there is a misunderstanding, it's my fault, and let's get on with this. And I would add, we have to have a blueprint. I call it the leader's blueprint of how now we want our people to come to us. So if we're going to have a team full of 3Ps that are eager people want to share their ideas. They want their ideas flexibly implemented. They have their own language that they speak, all of these things. But if I fail to tell you and say, hey, Erica, the best way to get my attention or your idea to get wings, please email me. Don't call me. This is the first thing that you can say. Hey, Andre, I have an idea that I think would help with ... Would love to hear what you like about it, anything you'd fine tune about it. You say that to me, boom. Now, my wife and my kids, all they have to do is say, Dad or Dre, hey, you got a second? I will shut down the world from spinning to hear you out. Okay. Then lastly, then have some information. So if you're coming to me with an idea, also, what do you need? Because based on what you need, I need to know, does this department over here need to step in? Who do we need? So those are the three big things that can get idea better wings. So if I just say, hey, I got an open door, or reach out to me, you may reach out to me in a way that's unsettling to me on the weekend or at my work phone and now you're not getting my best self. That is my job to lead the interaction as much as possible.
No, and it's a good point, because if it's the best way to contact me, or this is the information I need, you're going to have them thinking of those, as opposed to you even telling them,
Right.
Did you think of X, Y, and Z before we got to this point? And it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of effort. And as a leader, a lot of times we're short on those, especially if you've got multiple people that you're managing. And I think it's also helps to do that collaboration, because maybe I don't have all the answers and I have to reach out to somebody else to say, hey, I mean, I'm very often saying, come with a solution. And there are times where I don't even have a solution. And I said, I'm teeing up this problem, you guys, and I don't have an answer. And I'm really sorry, because that's not what I like, but that's what I need help with. Is I'm not even sure where to begin on this. And doing that also helps, because I hire you because you're smarter than me. And as a leader, I'm telling you, I don't know it all. And that's why we have you. And so let's come up, what do you know about the ins and outs of this? You do it on a daily basis. And I think that showing that and understanding that is very important.
Absolutely. Let them do what their expertise is. I'm just in the way. Now, what I will do is I call it, let's take it to the doctor. So I'll say to my team, this is my idea. What is it going to take to pull this off? Because I don't know, but I do want to hear everybody's idea. What is it going to take to pull it off? And based on the response, either we have the bandwidth to do it or we don't. And whether that bandwidth is energy or finances, maybe we do, maybe we don't. So now when I came with a priority, maybe it can be a priority. Maybe we need to put it on the back burner, or maybe it just simply doesn't make sense and we need to scrap it.
Yep.
And I'm fully okay with that. So another thing too, if you have people under you and we want to enhance their leadership and reduce your stress, let them know what authority span they have. Nicole, for me, in her position that's upcoming, she needs to know what I would firmly say no to. What are our hard yeses and nos here? Like for me, it's staying on brand. And from a marketing perspective, I will not ask without giving something. So if we're not going to be spammy, and I'm not saying spam doesn't work. There's people making millions off of the way they do spam. The way we do spam is this. So for her authority, one of her authority span topics is, this is where we're going. This is one of the ways that we're going to get here. And this over here is debatable, but that we get there is not for debate. How we get there has some wiggle room, but there's certain things that are some hard, but I need to give her the authority span so she can know what to say yes and no to, so she doesn't have to bring me everything.
Yeah. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss work-life harmony. but you are giving away an ebook to listeners. How can they receive?
Yes, well, there's going to be a link, after listening to this or while you're listening to it. All you have to do is click it. You put in your email address and it will, bing, just magically show up. And it's called Evolve Your Leadership in 5. So 5 big leadership tips to sharpen some of the tools that are already in your toolbox and to maybe give some ones that you may not have thought of at all.
I love it. And how can people reach you again to learn more about what you do and your services?
Oh, youevolvingnow.com. So YOU evolvingnow.com. And I love chatting with people. You want to check out the website? Great. You want to connect? I want to connect with you. So yeah, please fill it out and let's get together.
Thanks, Andre. I'm Erica Gifford Mills, and you are listening to Get Rooted Radio, living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Don't forget to visit getrootedradio.com to listen to a replay of this episode, sign up for helpful tips, and learn about upcoming events. That's getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Andre Young. Andre, thanks again for being on the show today.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure.
So during the last 2 segments, for you who might be catching up, we've discussed personal leadership and team leadership skills. And then during this segment, one of the big topics that I love to discuss is the work-life harmony. Sometimes I know people say work-life balance sometimes, but I like work-life alignment as well. But harmony, I think, is great. So in the introduction of your book, 7 Ways to Lead, Evolve Personally and Professionally, you defined work-life harmony. Can you share that with listeners?
Well, for me, again, I've heard different things outside of work-life balance. I just wholeheartedly disagree with work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
I vision in my mind when I see that people trying to do equal things or, and attempting to keep all of that. And listen, I have 4 kids and I run 2 businesses. There is no work-life balance. I have no work-life balance. There's times I work way more. I'm traveling, I'm getting off of planes, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Oh. However, I know work-life harmony comes in when you know what everyone in your circle needs most from you right now. You know their love language in personal life. You know in the 7 ways to lead, I talk about the leader 7, the 7 professional languages. So in the work environment, you know the 7 professional languages. You know what the people around you need most from you right now, and you're willing to marry what you want to do with what they need. Here's the kicker: just a little bit outside your comfort zone, but not so much that you wind up resentful of the task or them. It's also important that you matter too. I know people are busy, and I hear it from so many women more so. No one sacrifices themselves like a mom. So you sacrifice yourself, and I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do this for you. And then we wind up flying into Burnoutville or Frustrated Town, having a temper tantrum of, I don't get it to do anything. Therefore, work-life harmony is a choice. And we do that by putting us and those we care about in our schedule, in our calendar. I said, I and you and those of you listening may be very fortunate to have an actual assistant, an executive assistant. It's an awesome thing. However, the fact that we're all carrying around a phone in our pocket, you have one too. And we will tend to do what's in our calendar. We all have these notifications popping up. Are you in your calendar? Is your significant other in your calendar? Or is your daughter, is your kids, or your sons in your calendar? Excuse me. I have a daddy-daughter date. It's in my calendar. It's coming up. I have a date with my son in the calendar. Me and my wife have something scheduled. It's in my calendar. I have me in my calendar. I love a cigar in one hand and a drink in another. I have never had a bad conversation with a cigar in one hand and a drink in another. I also have 2 groups of friends. I have 3 friends from like high school and college. And I love those guys. And when I'm with them, it doesn't matter that I write books or I travel the world. I'm just Dre. And I speak the least, I laugh the most. My entrepreneur friends, people I've intentionally added to my circle over the years, when I get with them, we have conversations on like business ideas, and I'll come back and be like, oh, I'm going to start tinkering with this or do this, or I think have an idea about this or that. Both are so beneficial and quality relationships, but if I don't put them in my busy schedule, busy will always beat me. So when you put that in, it might be a month from now it's in there. My one-on-one meetings with my team, I scheduled them monthly for 3 months out. What shows up on your phone, you'll do. And I called it the concept of making time and taking time. You've made time to put it in there. When it pops up, do not, as a leader, leaders do not renegotiate. It comes up, I'm not moving that meeting with my employer, whoever I outsource to. We're going to have this meeting. The building's on fire, we'll have it in the driveway. With my wife or with myself. You'll put something on the calendar a month from now, a spa day for you or a cigar day for you, whatever you do to nurse yourself, you'll put it in there. And when that time comes up, there's every excuse in the world. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to feel like it. And I'll just sit back and binge watch a Law and Order episode all day long, which is nothing wrong with that. But you know what you need. You knew what you needed. Give it to yourself. And then when you do that, you can allow other people to know it's coming. It's not this shock to the system because all of a sudden it's this random thing you're going to do. And the last thing, be so daggone good coming back from the things you do for you that they can't deny that you're a better partner, parent, son, whatever. So when you want to do it again, they give you permission to go do it. So that's what I would say.
So important, though. It is. It's so important because if you cancel that appointment with yourself, right? I always say, would I cancel my appointment with my doctor? No. So I'm my doctor right now. I'm the person who needs to do that. And if you're not coming back refreshed and happy and motivated, right, from whatever the experience was, is it the right thing to be doing? Right. Are you asking yourself that, right? Or are you mentioned it in the first segment, is what we intake, right? Whether it's social media, what we read, what we watch on TV, the people we surround ourselves with. So if we're not coming back refreshed, are we doing the right activities? Are we with the right people? What is going on for that? Mm-hmm. And I think it kind of leads into my next question I have for you is, how do we stop allowing an average life?
Oh, jeez.
When we're looking at this, right?
I tell you what, it's the same thing that I shared before. Without the leaders 3, when we talked about the vision and vision factors, we'll remove the expectations and rules. We talked about the vision professionally for yourself. What about personally? For you and your relationships, what's your vision? I know for my, I joke, but I'm dead serious. For my wife and I said, my vision is I want to be that 80-year-old couple shuffling down the grocery store with my hand on their backside squeezing. Now, I've had people in the audience say, no, you mean hold her hand. I said, no, I heard what I said, and I meant what I said. I want to shuffle and squeeze at 80. Now, for me to shuffle and squeeze at 80, I got to know my vision factors. What do I need to do to make that happen? I want to have a great life with my friends. What does it mean to do that? So it all starts with your vision. What do you want? And then now, what are the 3 to 5 things that you're going to do and start doing to get them? So now the vision factors allow you to know what to say yes and no to. There was a time in my life where I was hanging out with, my friends, and I was a boy in a man's body. I was becoming, and I just didn't know yet. So I would go to hang out, and we're going places that I don't want to go anymore. I'm going in places that I might have to lie about when I come home, even though I wasn't doing anything. Now I'm guilty by association. I'm where I don't want to be, seeing what I don't want to see, doing what I don't like. So from there, I started offering new suggestions to my friends. So it's 2 things. So whether it's at work, whether it's in life, whether it's in your marriage. I started offering solutions. Hey, how about we go to downtown for lunch at 2:00? Now, in the afternoon, obviously. Now, if I can get in trouble with my friends at that time at 2 p.m. downtown in a nice restaurant, it's me. So I started offering, and you'd be surprised who says yes. Start offering different things to do with your partner. You'd be surprised who says yes, and then you don't always need them to. When we get intentional about who we add to our circle. So old school wise, I started going to networking meetings, the old school shaking hand networking meetings. And now I network, socially or LinkedIn around the world, or not going somewhere, or doing trainings, and you just meet great people. And now when you start intentionally connecting with those individuals, then your world starts to expand, and you can always invite who you've been friends with you. Some will come, some won't, and that's okay. It's all okay. And then you put that in your calendar. So that's what I would share.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss leadership and work-life harmony training personally and within organizations and company. This is Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it, loving it up, letting it go. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. If you missed any of the information during the last segments, go to getrootedradio.com to listen to the replay. Don't forget to subscribe, sign up for tips and special events and pricing for upcoming coaching sessions. That's getrootedradio.com. Welcome back to my guest, Andre Young. Andre, again, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Pleasure.
Tell listeners how they can learn more about you and your services and reach out for more information.
You Evolving Now is the best way. So youevolvingnow.com, YOU evolvingnow.com. And services wise, there's a tab, Andre Young Services, and so much of that is there. But I'm a big customizer. What do you want to get out of bringing someone like me in, allowing me to match what I have, customize, create, or refer?
So during our last segments, we talked about personal leadership, team leadership skills, and leadership and work-life harmony training. But now I want to talk about the harmony training itself. But before we do that, it's the holiday season. And, you called the steps to lead through the holiday season, you called this a leader's holiday. So how do we lead through the stops and starts of the holiday season?
It's Erica, it's a grind. You know it too. Like, there's less time to get a lot done, closing out the year, your vision for the following year coming up, meetings, cancellations, all of that stuff. So for me, it's a big thing to say, okay, what's the goal to end the year? Being able for, depending on the business you're in, okay, it's a great time to reach out to prospects. So many of us are trying to get new business. We forget to take care of the old business that we satisfied. They are the people most likely to bring you back, hire you back, do more business with you. So it's a great time of year to reach back, say hellos, set up meetings with new and old prospects. So now you want dates set up. Most will be had. Some people will forget or have to reschedule, and that's not the worst thing in the world, because now we can reschedule for the new year. The people who may have forgotten or had to reschedule, from a psychological perspective, they feel like they owe you one. I don't miss many meetings. I don't have to reschedule many meetings, but it happens. It's business. It's life. And I feel awful when I do, and I assume other people feel that way too. So now it's having the notes, and whether it's in your CRM system, which I am completely horrible with. Like, if I have to run my own CRM system, I wouldn't meet anyone. I'm just bad at that. So I'm old school paper, and Nicole, my assistant, makes sure that everything happens the way it happens. But I have that list. So now not only do I know who I'm meeting with, why I'm meeting with them, what the date was, who to reach back out to, and be able to keep that all in track. And now we can start the year not only with our new vision, but also with an enhanced pipeline and connections. So it's a very simple process. I will tell you how many people that get, whether it's new people starting a business or people that are inundated with business, there's so much left in between the cracks during the holiday season and post-holiday season.
And I think it's, oh, everybody's too busy, or and you get stuck in that mindset that there's, we got 2 weeks left, right? We've got lots of time to still get things done, and being, of course, still respectful of everybody's schedule and right. Things that are doing. But I think that's great tips. Now, I do want to spend a good chunk of time on this. So it's going to be a loaded question, but how do we stop being busy, right, and start being better?
Wow.
So it's a loaded question, right? Because there's lots of things we can do depending on where you're at and what you are doing. Right. But as leaders, personal and professionally, how do we do that? And what would be some key takeaways that you'd want our listeners to hear?
Well, it's a great question. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, first, we do have to value busy first. Let's pay busy some respect. I beat up on busy tough sometimes. So for instance, I have about 15 to 20 things that I get to do to run my business daily. It's not always the same. Some of it is. It's my busy work. Busy pays the bills, but busy doesn't always mean better. Busy doesn't always allow you to evolve. So for me, you want to be better instead of busy, have your list. And if you're type A listening to this, raise your hand and raise it high. Some people love having a list and crossing it off. And the pro is it feels good. Cross it off.
Yep. Not just electronically. I got to have that pen to paper.
Yeah. Some people have highlighted markers. Like it's efficient. Here's the concern to it. The list never stops growing.
Oh, yeah.
That list is going to grow. It leaks onto the next page, the next day. And notice I do say get to, not have to. Okay. There's 8 billion people on the planet that would take my list over theirs any day. Okay. But at the top of my page, I write down wins, WINS. I never have 15 to 20 wins per day. I usually have about 1 to 3 wins in a day. So if anything gets crossed off, your wins get crossed off. Busy matters, but wins allow evolution and growth. So one, I would share that over being busy and better. 2, and this is big for me. Anytime as a leader that I start to feel busy and inundated, what it typically means is that I'm in the weeds. I have allowed myself to get in the weeds, and that's okay. There's some power in being in the weeds. Every now and then, here's the pros of being in the weeds sometimes as a leader. Every now and then when you roll your sleeves up and you do the dirty work of the weeds, one, your team likes that. They get to see that you're in it and you're invested. However, you visit there, you don't live there. Okay?
Yeah.
The weeds may mean you're doing something new and you want to figure that it works first before you then pass it on. I have templates that I copy and paste all day long, and it started because I was in the weeds. Now I know they work, and now I can make it easier for myself and my team. And I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't in the weeds.
Right.
What happens is you get there and it makes sense to be there, whether it's for a reason or season. But at some point, you start feeling stressed. I know I do. At some point, I feel busy and inundated, and now I don't have time like I used to. And in those moments, I realize I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is somebody else's job now. Yep. And now I need to properly delegate. And there are too many leaders that will not actively delegate for a lot of reasons. I can do it better. I can do it faster. They're going to mess it up. So all of these different things. And now that's a control issue, not a leadership thing. Yep. Okay. So we got to be able to properly delegate and say, okay, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this? This is now something that may need to be delegated elsewhere. Now, who am I? Number one, why am I giving it up? Why am I giving it up? For me, it's, this is beyond the scope of what I need to be doing. I am the face of my business, and I impact on stage and in trainings and things like this. And although this is important, this is no longer where I need to be. Number two, who am I giving it to? Do they want it or have the capacity and bandwidth to actually do it? So are they great at it and I can just hand it off? If not, what are they anxious about? Do they need mentoring, coaching, templates from me, training? What do they need? And then from there, obviously, is following up and maintaining your one-on-one meetings and not canceling and rescheduling the most rescheduled and canceled meeting across all companies, because you want to ensure that things are growing and evolving without you. So not just getting done, but growing and evolving and upgrading without you to a degree. So that's what I would share. Like, I find myself in the weeds. You got to get out of the weeds and grow your business, your team, your organization.
That's really important, because that's what we're here to do as leaders, right? Is to mentor other people, to make them, because the more you make your team better, the more advanced everybody will be. And that's what we want to do. We want to evolve.
Absolutely. And there some people might be saying, well, what if I can't delegate it to someone? When that's a possibility, when you cannot bring on an assistant, when there's not a department help, when there's not this, then it may be time to reprioritize. And maybe you have a bigger boss or you are the boss and you got to sit down and say, okay, what's on my list here? What's a high priority handle now? What's a high priority handle later? What's a lower priority handle now and a lower priority handle later? And we got to define what later is. Later isn't never just because you don't want to do it or you're busy. So we got to sit back and either reprioritize for ourselves and give ourselves permission not to do everything, or we need to be able to proper delegate or go to a boss above you and say, listen, this is what I'm working with right now. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I think members suggested solution. Leaders bring solutions. This is what I believe the priorities are. What do you like about it? And is there anything you'd fine tune? Let them lead you. Let them better protect you. Oh, hey, I didn't know you were handling so much. I like what you mentioned. Go with it. And now you have permission to do what you want to do. Or, hey, I would do this first because this is where we're going in 2024. So let's focus on this. And then let's hold off on this, or let's give this to this. Let them lead and protect you. That's leadership too. That's how you lead up.
Definitely. Thank you again for being on the show today. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to Get Rooted Radio. If you missed any part of today's episode or want to listen again, go to getrootedradio.com for the podcast. And don't forget to tune in the first and third Monday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific right here on Transformation Talk Radio. Thank you for tuning in. Have an amazing day. And I'm looking forward to the next time on Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills. Living it up, loving it up, letting it go. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Get Rooted Radio with Erica Gifford Mills, living it up, loving it up, and letting it go. Visit getrootedradio.com if you've missed any part of this hit show, and tune in on transformationtalkradio.com to live fearlessly in your more and powerfully rooted in your unlimited yes. For more information and to work with Erica directly, visit getrootedradio.com. That's getrootedradio.com, and get ready to live it up, love it up, and let it go.